Welcome to the JCPod. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell. What's up, man? We had a lot of weird games last weekend. We had some close losses, big upsets, wild action. I think the public got absolutely destroyed this weekend. I think there were the 70% of public bettors on the team, if there was 70% on the team. 0-8. The 49ers lose. Bills lose. There's a lot to talk about, man. We even had some wild college action. I'll basically go through a lot of the football weekend action that was this weekend. That's pretty much all we're going to do in this. Give a quick update on the MLB. Ooh, man. We'll do the quick MLB update now real quick. Usually we hop into NFL, but quick MLB update. I'm talking like 2 minutes. It's going to be like a 2-minute burn, if that. Astros get eliminated. Apparently Dusty Baker he's like, I forget what the record is, but he hasn't won a Game 7. The Rangers coach always wins Game 7s, apparently. I don't know what his record is, but shout out to them. Rangers move on to the World Series, man. That is shocking. And then yesterday, D-backs forced a Game 7 against the Phillies. Ooh. Going to be interesting, man. Yeah, that's basically it for the baseball world. Basically one game away from the World Series. That's crazy. So, yeah, by the time you see me next Thursday, I'll be giving you a World Series matchup. But, yeah, basically to go into today now, we're going to talk about the NFL real quick. It was a wild weekend. We can start with the, that's next week. Apologize. We can start with the Jaguars Saints. It was crazy. Weird weekend. Started off the weekend 0-4. Or, sorry, excuse me. Other way around. Started off the week 4-0 on my, whatever you call it, my JC Play series on Stay Down Sports with those articles. Started off 4-0, ended 0-5, I think, Sunday last night with the 49ers. So I saw it all this weekend. It was a wild weekend. But, yeah, man. Jags went up early. Weren't able to bury the Saints, so the Saints kind of stormed back a little bit later to make it a closer game than it probably should have been, honestly. Yeah, Jags go up 17-6 in the halftime. I believe they go up 17-9. They go up 17-9. The Saints are able to hang around a little bit. Well, they end up losing. Derek Carr, 33 for 55, 301, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The big thing everything's talking about this game is just Derek Carr, man. He was so animated on the sideline, getting mad about people running routes where people were at. It didn't seem like Chris Olave gave up on the route, but Derek Carr threw it out of bounds. I don't know what he expected there. It was just a really weird game, man. It was a really, really weird game. I don't expect too much from this game, honestly. Jaguars won. I figured they'd win. They were able to get the job done. That wasn't too shocking. ETN was really good on the ground. That was the nice part about it as well. Trevor Lawrence was definitely healthier than they thought. I wasn't too shocked by this game, honestly. This was one of the few games that didn't shock me too much. I didn't expect the Saints to win. Saints kept it a little bit closer than I thought, though, especially with Trevor Lawrence playing. Because, yeah, if Trevor Lawrence was playing, I don't think the Saints had a chance. Their offense is first route. If it's not there, check down to Alvin Kamara or check down to somebody else. It's apparently... even the Jaguars called it out. It's like, yeah, hey, I forget. I don't know if they said this to the meet. It was before the game or after the game, but they basically were like, hey, Derek Carr, he ain't throwing it downfield. He's checking it down pretty quickly, so we're going to have to play that. Like I said, I don't remember if they said that before the game or after the game. I'm pretty sure they probably said after. It'd make the most sense. But, yeah, they talked about it afterwards, how he checked it down a lot. That's a big issue for the Saints is, yeah, the offense is just not fully there, man. They have the players to do it, so it's just weird that it's just not. At a certain point, you gotta wonder, it's like, man, is that the quarterback's fault? Or what? I'm not gonna throw Derek Carr into the bus. It's still very early, and I guess it's not too early now. It's week 7. We're about to the halfway point now, so, I think we pretty much saw what we're gonna see from Derek Carr this season, but, man, I don't know. It makes you wonder now if he was the right quarterback for the Saints, and that's where I'll leave that thought. The Cleveland Browns, shout out to the refs, man. We'll talk about this game quickly as well for the Colts. This was a shocking one. They put up 38 on the Cleveland Browns defense. Gardner Minshew had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor had a rushing touchdown. Michael Pittman, long touchdown. Josh Downs, long touchdown. The Colts might have put out the blueprint on how to get some stuff working on the Browns. I don't know if the Browns were coming off the high victory against the 49ers or what, but the Colts were able to hang in there. Played them really well, and then the big theme of this weekend was the refs. I'm not going to say the refs completely... the refs just had a horrible day. Let's just keep it that way. That's all that anybody's really been talking about, so I'm not going to be one of the people to alliterate it, or not alliterate it, another one of those people to go on with it and just basically blast the refs. They just had a bad day. kind of like watching your favorite player have a bad day, except the refs hold a little bit more power than the average player. But yeah, they gave the Colts a horrible illegal contact penalty that the more I look at it, it's like, man, Amari Cooper kind of stiff-armed him a little bit, but I'm not going to complain about that. And then if you look, the pass interference, the pass interference that the ball bounced basically into the stands and over his head, that was bullshit. That one was bullshit. That one kind of made me mad. That basically gave the Browns that game. I can't believe the Browns didn't decide to run the ball to 4th down. That's the biggest takeaway from my game. There's basically, the way the game went, the Colts probably should have won that game. They get a strip sack fumble, and then a penalty gets called for illegal pass interference on a ball that wasn't even catchable. Or, sorry, the strip sack fumble happened on the illegal contact penalty where they get the strip sack, the Colts get the ball. About like 5 seconds later, you get illegal contact, defense. It's like, okay, whatever, let's see it. Wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the, I hate the call. It was a bad call, in my opinion. Even if I wasn't a Colts fan, I wouldn't have liked the call as a football player. So I'm like, all right, whatever, 1st and goal, I guess. I don't remember if it was 1st and goal. It's at least 1st and 10, a lot closer now. It's like, all right, I guess we'll give them that. And then they gave them the pass interference, put the ball in the one. It's like, all right, the Browns pretty much won this game. Kevin Stefanski, man, what's going on with him? Throws it 3 times in a row, then runs it. They finally get it on the run. It's like, why'd you decide to run on 4th down? Didn't run on 1st down. Probably shouldn't have got the 4th and goal, but that's whatever for that point. Deshaun Watson gets knocked out, has 2 horrible throws and gets knocked out. That's more the weird thing about this. Like, don't get me wrong. I could spend all day on the refs, but the Colts got robbed. Colts had a chance to win the game. They lost. It is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it much more than I need to, but it is really shocking what happened with Deshaun Watson, man. Looked horrible. Concussed, so he holds out. So all of a sudden, Kevin Stefanski's just like, yeah, we're going to hold him out as a precaution. We aren't going to play him. That was just weird, man. That was a really weird situation. P.J. Walker ended up coming in, doing just a good enough job. He had a really nice ball, but right before, on the same drive where they had those 2 horrible penalties, called against the Colts, P.J. Walker not even a bullet, dude. That was a Steph Curry floater, man. He laid that thing all the way up. It felt like it took forever to come down. It was a really nice pass. But yeah, overall, the Browns get a big win. Myles Garrett just absolutely wrecks havoc. I probably should have talked about Myles Garrett way earlier. Myles Garrett won that game, man. I'm going to read you out his stats if I can find them. Myles Garrett's just absolutely disgusting. He is ridiculous. 7 tackles, 2 assisted, 2 sacks, a fumble, a forced fumble, a block kick. He single-handedly accounted for 17 points against the Colts. The guy's a freak, man. We're going to talk about another freak of nature for that's potentially going for Defensive Player of the Year with the Steelers. But yeah, man, shout out to the Browns. That was a big win. But Kevin Stefanski, I don't know what's going on with him, and I don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. Those are 2 very weird situations. So next we'll go to the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Rams. That's the next game I have on my sheet. Shout out Pittsburgh, man, coming off a bye after a win. Something I thought was really interesting about this game, I heard it from Bill Simmons. Maybe the Steelers are just trying to lull people to sleep. I know he was half kidding, but you got to start wondering if it's a real strategy, because there's just because he said it best. Maybe they only got 1 to 1.5 quarters of juice, so they just wait and pick the right time to use it. Because if you watched, this game was screaming Rams from the beginning. Rams go up 9-3 at half, and then open the 3rd quarter. What really killed them was the open second half. The Rams looked like they were in control of this game for most of the game, and then they just ran out of juice for whatever reason. Second half, first play, T.J. Watt, pick 6, takes it down to the 8. It's going to be a fun Defensive Player of the Year battle between Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa. Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt. Nick Bosa will probably be the 3rd leg in that race, finding its way up, but it's going to be Nick Bosa. Jesus, I keep saying it again. It's going to be Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt. Those 2 are insane. Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt. Those dudes are insane, man. Truly. Myles Garrett had an amazing day. And you're sitting there, it's like, man, what is T.J. Watt going to do to one-up him? And then sure enough, he gets an interception. If he would have taken that interception back to the house, oh my God, that would have been nice. But no, honestly, I got smoked on NFL this weekend. And the picks I gave out, at least, betting-wise, I didn't do horrible. I got a good amount of live betting in that I'll talk about a little bit as the games go on, but this was one of those games I just got cooked by the Rams. I live bet the Colts on the money line, so them getting screwed as they did, that really hurt. Rams had a -3. Second half, that was just dead, boy. Their offense grinded to a halt. No points in the 4th quarter. Shout out to Pittsburgh, man. Pittsburgh gets another win. Matt Campbell looked happy after they scored a touchdown. Good job. Weirdest 4-2 team that the Steelers are going to be one of those teams this year. It's like, how are they 4-2? How are they? Next week they play the Jaguars. It's Jaguars, Titans, Packers, Browns, Bengals. I mean, this could be a sneaky playoff. This could be a sneaky playoff team that has a minus point differential, like minus yards. I mean, it's the way the Steelers find to win this game is just absolutely insane. Real quick though, I don't know if I hit 230. They did not get over 400 yards of offense. Not shocking. They actually had a good amount of yards on offense. I'll give them that. Packers Broncos. We can go over this game next. Jordan Love's just not a guy. The fact that he wasn't able to score in the first half against the Packers or against the Broncos. That's an issue, man. The Broncos defense is bad, so him not being able to score, that just tells you everything you need to know. His go-ahead touchdown was a ricochet, weird touchdown on 4th down. He was 21 for 31 for 180. Had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think the interception might have happened late. It was pretty funny. I forget which game it was. I was watching these on Red Zone at the time. It was the Packers game. It might have been the Chiefs game, which we'll talk about in a second as well. But it's Packers, Denver, Chiefs, Chargers. I was watching those games. I think they both had simultaneous game-ending interceptions by the defense. So it's like, oh, okay, let me just start getting ready for Monday Night Football then. Goddamn. I was rooting for the Packers at that point. I was hoping they'd be able to get close. I mean, I won't lie, Jordan Love had a check down to A.J. Dillon, throws it deep, ends up getting picked on iffy coverage, man. I won't lie. I don't know what he saw, but I'm not going to judge him because I'm not an NFL quarterback. And I play defensive line, so I'm just a dummy, right? No, honestly, though, I truly didn't know what he saw when he threw it deep in his picks. I just don't know. I don't know if he was, told to do that, if there's something they saw, if that was the route. I don't know, but he had the check down open. All they needed was a field goal, so that sucked. He might have been trying to go for the touchdown maybe there or something. It's just, you hate to see it because the Packers truly had a chance to win the game at the end. They did not. So the Broncos are able to get a win. That might have saved that might have saved Russ's job potentially. Because I just have a feeling that they're going to try to move on from Russ at some point this season. Maybe not get rid of him, keep him as a backup for next season as well, but I just don't think that he's Sean Payton's guy, pretty much. That's what it comes down to. I just don't think he's Sean Payton's guy. I think Sean Payton's trying to look elsewhere. They have the backup already, Jarrett Stidham, that Sean Payton probably would love to use, so he's probably just sitting there waiting, biding his time. But the more Russell Wilson, hey, it's one of those things where he's probably not opposed to Russell Wilson, but he's definitely not trying to use him too much. But shout out to the Broncos, man. All that. They were able to get a win. They had Russ had 1 touchdown on 20 of 29 passing. He didn't have a horrible game. A 98% passer rating. Not terrible at all. Congrats to Russ on that one. Shocking, man. The 1-5 Patriots. Mac Jones, who can't win a game when he's an underdog. They beat the Bills, man. 29-25. This is one of the first shockers of the day. I just have no excuse. This is just shocking, man. I don't know what's going on with the Bills. I don't know what. They're 4-3. There's something seriously wrong with the Bills at this point. Josh Allen has a lot of turnovers. This is weird, man. This was a game that I understand. Buffalo Bills generally owns the Patriots. I had nothing in this game. I had no horse in this race, as they say. But this is a shocking thing for the Bills. Is it good for the Patriots, though, to get a big win? Bill got his 300th win with Mac Jones. That's going to be a funny bar question later in. Can't wait to hear it, basically. Yeah, it's going to be 15 years from now. It's who was the quarterback that Bill Belichick got his 300th win with? Hopefully you remember, it was Mac Jones. No, because I don't know if he's going to be their quarterback much longer, honestly. The whole thing I thought they were doing was, obviously, I don't think they're tanking, but they're probably in consideration for getting one of the quarterbacks on this year's draft, so they might have not wanted to win this game. There's potential there, but they proved, hey, it's a division game. Our season's still potentially alive. Let's get one. And they got a big game. I mean, that was a big game to win. By the way, Bill Belichick is one of 3 coaches to get 300 wins all times. Shout out, Billy Boy. But yeah, man, Josh Allen, 27 for 41, 265, 2-1. Mac Jones, 25 for 30, 272. 2 touchdowns. That's what's been helpful. Is when they don't turn the ball over, the Patriots look not as horrible. I mean, the Patriots just didn't have 2 of their defenders. I mean, that's just, a lot of people were saying, like, were we wrong about the Patriots? I think it's the other way. It's like, maybe we were wrong about the Bills. No, this is a game that the Bills probably should have won. This is 100% a winnable game for the Bills. The fact they didn't win it, it makes you wonder, are the defensive injuries finally catching up to them? No Matt Milano, no Tre'Davious White. They lost another big boy in the middle. I can't remember who it is, but they lost a key defensive lineman. So, man, it's just tough because now they have the quick turnaround on Thursday night. Baker's hurt, though, potentially. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We're coming up to that game. So I'll talk about a little news later as well because I haven't fully read on it. So I'll probably read the article live with you guys on what's happened with Baker Mayfield. But yeah, Bills, man, shocking loss. They're 4-3. They really need to pick themselves off the mat bad because, I mean, it's starting to get to the point where, I mean, do they just play to their opponents? That's what I'm starting to wonder because they play, so far that's what it seemed like the season. They got up for the Dolphins, like got up. Completely destroyed them in Buffalo, which they beat them at now 8 years in a row. Which I wondered what that was. And then ever since, like, the teams they've lost to, the Patriots, the Jets, I can't remember that third one. But regardless, I mean, you get the point. They're just like, they have been playing down to their competition. They play up to the competition. It's just bad, man. They lost to the Jags. It's just, I don't get it. The Bills are very confusing this year. Shout out to the Patriots getting a big win. Another confusing game. That boy, T-Bag, man. T-Bag and Dante Foreman just absolutely destroyed the Raiders themselves. I won't lie. I apologize to you guys as fans of my show who rode with me on the Raiders. I forgot their coach was a big dumb dipshit. Hot seat coach of the week. We got our boy Josh McDaniels. Hot seat coach. Yeah, we got Josh McDaniels. We got one more. We'll get to it in a second. But, man, I don't know why the hell he started 40-year-old Brian Hoyer, not Aiden O'Connell. I do not truly, like, and then he comes out and he's like, it's not the preseason. Like, yeah, he's sitting there acting like Brian Hoyer's better than Aiden O'Connell. Like, Brian Hoyer was, and it was crazy. He ends up putting Aiden O'Connell in. Aiden O'Connell goes 10 for 13, 75 yards, and a touchdown and interception. If you look at Brian Hoyer's stats, he played. So Aiden O'Connell, by the way, I just want to let this know. Aiden O'Connell probably played a quarter, if that, max quarter, probably even less than that. Goes 10 for 13 for 75. Brian Hoyer goes 17 for 32 for 129 on the game. Everything I predicted about this game was damn near wrong, and they played Brian Hoyer, and I'm not going to say that's. I feel like why? Because hey, oh man, I can accept that. Hey, it's a loss. It happens. You ain't gonna get the game rights all the time, but the fact that they played Brian Hoyer over Aiden O'Connell tells me all I need to know about that team. Raiders losing to the Bears too. I mean, that's one of those ones where it's like, now I don't know if I can bet on you guys all year. Like, that was a bad loss. That was a bad loss, man. Like, the Bears aren't very good. The Bears are trying to go for the 1 and number 2 overall pick. So the fact that they lost to them, that's pretty bad. But yeah, Tyson Badgett, man. That boy T-Bag had 21 for 29, 1 touchdown, 160 yards passing in his first career start. Only NFL rookie to win his first start this year. So shout out, man. Yeah, the Bears play the Chargers next week, so that's Chargers really, really need a win bad. So I'm very curious to see how the Bears play them because the word's probably out a little bit on Badgett. By the way, also Brian Hoyer threw a pick 6. Just to mention that Brian Hoyer threw a pick 6. I mean, it's we don't need to talk about that game anymore. That game is big booty trash. Shout out to the Bears for getting a big win. Shout out Dante Foreman, 3 touchdowns on the road. Glad I played him in fantasy. Giants Commanders. I played against him in fantasy, by the way. I didn't play him. That's why it was a sarcastic little. But yeah, Sam Howell trying to set the NFL record for most sacks in the season. I mean, he is already, I think, almost at 50, and it's only week 7. I mean, that boy is just getting slaughtered. We'll talk about it in a minute. I think it was Jerron Payne, or one of the Commanders players came out and talked about his frustrations with the team. He basically came out and talked about how it's been the same shit for 7 years now, and he's getting tired of it. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's Giants able to get a big win. Darren Waller has a touchdown. Saquon has 77 yards rushing and has a touchdown. I mean, it's just. That was a good win by the Giants, honestly. Giants, that's more of a spot, I feel like, where the Giants really, really needed to win bad. Ron Rivera might be on the hot seat coach as well. We'll put him down there. Ronnie R., our boy. I don't know what that game was offensively from the Commanders. It was just a bad game. It's a division game, so, I mean, it's kind of understandable. But it was just horrible. Like, offensively, they just got nothing done. I mean, offensively, the Commanders look like how the Giants have looked the last 2 days, or last 2 games we've watched them, where they just can't do anything at all with the ball. But, I mean, shout out to the Giants. They win an ugly, disgusting game with, shout out to the Giants. They win a nasty game with Tyrod Taylor. It makes you wonder. They've won 2 really close, dirty games with Tyrod Taylor, but when Daniel Jones did, they were just getting the ass blasted. So it makes you wonder what's going on with the Giants. Shout out to them, though. Big win. I don't got really too much more to say. It was just a big win by the Giants. Commanders kind of just didn't really do too much, man. I wasn't really. Now they're going to an Eagles. Now they're going to the Eagles next week because they played tough a few weeks ago. It's just that's bad. That's rough, man. They are 0-2. Commanders. I mean, they need these division wins bad, and I think they've lost both their division games so far that they played. Yeah, they've lost both their division games they played so far. That's a bad start for them. Falcons Bucks. This is probably the most controversial game of the week. By the way, before I start with any of the BS, let me start with the greatness. Shout out Younghoe Koo, man. Younghoe Koo, a dog. Second all time in field goal percentage. Career field goal percentage in makes. He's right behind Justin Tucker for number 2 all time. Shout out, man. He's really good. I mean, we joked about it on Rowan's show on Friday. The Falcons are -2 every single week, and it always comes down to a Younghoe Koo kick, excuse me. And it seems like that's always seems what it always comes down to. Desmond Ridder had a rushing touchdown. Also had like 3 or 4 fumbles. But yeah, if you look at the stat sheet, it's Desmond Ridder and then a lot of Younghoe Koo. I mean, the Falcons just win games by field goals. It seems like every single game. They just don't score touchdowns. They try to make it as close as possible. The Bucks just didn't have the best day in general. Mike Evans got another touchdown. That's good for a future. We're good. I think we'll probably touch back up on the NFL futures either next week or week after. It's been a little bit. Now that we're almost a month 2 into the season. I won't lie. There's just off the top of my head, Christian McCaffrey. That's close to cashing. Mike Evans is doing pretty good. There's a few that aren't doing too good. Like us, Anthony Richardson, Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's in trouble. But yeah, we'll touch about that. We'll touch about that a little bit later. The big news about this game, though, Falcons Bucks. Seen a lot of different views on it. I'll kind of give my touches on it. Bijan Robinson, man. Apparently he's dealing with migraines. But that's what the rumor is. I'm not 100% sure. I could be right, could be wrong. I've heard migraines, but my joke, and this is a joke, people. I'm gonna go with he had the runs, the bubble guts, the shits. It's made it a lot funnier for me to deal with. It's just like, man, that dude's going out there. Anytime he runs the ball, he gets the bubble guts, and he just can't play. I've just had to make a joke out of it because, yeah, it's a tough situation. Personally, for me, had a four-legger with touchdown scores. It was like 10 to win, 419. Bijan was the last leg of it that didn't hit. So as you can imagine, I'm with all those. I also had him in fantasy, and I pretty much lost my league because he didn't play really. But it's one of those things, like, man, you just have to accept the losses. It just really sucks. I wish they would have put him on the injury report and said, like, hey, he had migraines. Apparently this was happening pre-game, so they just kind of didn't say anything and let it be. And then all of a sudden it was just weird because he had migraines, so he didn't feel right. But they kept him out there to decoy him a little bit. They ended up giving him a carry towards the end of the game, so I guess he started to feel better as the game got on towards the end. It was just a really real situation. The NFL is going to be looking into it to see if they need to fine him or anything. Just the biggest thing, my biggest thing I take away from it is, hey, accept the loss, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just as pissed as everybody else. I went to Twitter. I probably scrolled Twitter for a good, 15 minutes during the 1 o'clock game, sitting there, it's like, what the hell is going on with Bijan? But this is my advice to the people who follow my show and listen to this show. It's like, hey, this generally has made it a lot easier to deal with the losses as well. Like, hey, if there's sometimes some things are just out of your control, man. You just gotta laugh about it and enjoy it. Like, that's why I made the joke that Bijan got the shits, man. Because, like, truthfully, Bijan, truthfully, I lost a good amount of money on it. I got fucked over in fantasy because of it. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's a little bit of gamemanship. I can totally understand why the Falcons did it. It just sucks. That had to happen right before the game. But, yeah, it's just my biggest takeaway from that situation. It's like, hey, if you're gonna bet on something or you're gonna place money on something, you're gonna do something, just know there's always that small chance that something's gonna go wrong. I'm not telling you to bank on it. Like, don't go into next week banking, sitting there, it's like, what if Bijan gets out? What if Bijan gets out? Just if he goes out, just have a little bit of fun with it. Like I said, boy had the shits. He had the bubble guts. Anytime he went out there, he just had to run back to the locker room, take a shit real quick. He'll be okay. No, honestly, the whole situation just sucks. I mean, it's just, that's all you can do. It just sucks. There's not much we can do about it as gamblers and watchers. You just got to accept it and be like, man, looks like Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson are getting all the carries today, which sucks because if Bijan was in that game, I feel like he would have ran all over the Bucks if Cordell Patterson and Tyler Algier were able to. But yeah, that's just my biggest thing about it. I don't want to spend too long on it because everybody's talked about it on every single show. It's really one of the things like, hey, he got hurt before the game. They decided not to play him too much because of it, and it just sucks that us as fans got on the receiving end of it. It's going to happen. I mean, it's not the first time it's happened in the NFL. Probably won't be the last, but it is, I guess, good that the NFL is looking into it. And shout out the sports books who did give money back to people. Because I won't lie to you, FanDuel didn't. Not shocking. I think DraftKings did. Shout out. But yeah, I mean, like, I won't lie to you. Like, once I saw Bijan was out, they're like, yeah, that's probably, like, once Arthur Smith at halftime, I was like, yeah, that's probably all you're going to see from Bijan today. It's like, I already marked that bet as an L. It's like, oh, well, damn, that bet's going to probably end up losing because, I mean, there's no way he plays. I mean, I already was packing up my stuff and ready to go. It just sucks, man. Like I said, so I'm not going to be one of those people that just sits there. I won't lie to you. I'm not going to be one of those people who goes on Twitter and cries about it. I accept it. Don't get me wrong. I'm pissed. I'm beyond pissed about it because I lost fantasy and lost a chance on $400 because of it. Hey, I mean, it's just one of the things you gotta live with it. You only can control what you can control, so it's just one of those things. He has the shits. Bro, the bubble guts. He couldn't continue to run. Shout out the Falcons. That was a really big win. Look for Bijan to come back next week. I think the only thing that's scary about that is for future reference. Like, man, if he does deal with migraines, that's gonna suck for his career. If he just like, there's gonna be some games right before the game. He's like, man, I'm not feeling it, and they have to pull him. Hopefully, this was just a one-time thing. That's the biggest moral of the story, but. We'll see. Shout out the Falcons. Big win. Ritter needs to work on his fumbles and turning the ball over. He's starting to get a little too turnover happy all of a sudden these last few weeks. So hopefully he can stick that up. And then, yeah. Shout out Bijan, man. Hopefully he becomes okay because, yeah, he had the internet up in storm on Sunday. People were not happy. I'll touch on it just slightly more. It is my show. I just don't want to spend all day on this Bijan stuff. It's just, I'm frustrated too, man. It just really sucks. It just sucks that much more that, like, people instantly turn around and like, oh, where's my bonus money? Hey, where's my bonus back? Hey, give me my bet back because it lost. Like, that's the part of it that sucks for me. It's like, hey, man, you got to understand. You boys just lost the bet, man. The books just happened to get one on that day because, I mean, the books got yesterday. I'll talk about this game next because that's on the sheet. And speaking of got, Seahawks beat the Cardinals 20-10. The red zone is an issue again for the Seahawks. They had like 2 or 3 possessions, I think, where they just couldn't finish. If they could finish, they might have been all busted open. But shout out the Cardinals, man. Cardinals played them really, really tough. I mean, it was a close game about going into half. It was 14-10, and then just same thing has happened for the Cardinals again. Their first half team, second half, they just get kind of shut down, smothered in the dirt by the Seahawks. But yeah, to shout out a good betting story though. This was truly awesome. The Seahawks had a chance where they were going down the score, basically. Jake Bobo had that toe tap where one foot's in, he taps the right, left foot's in, he taps the right, and then he slides out of bounds. So they reviewed it for like a good 2 minutes. Or no, it's probably like a good minute and a half where they were sitting there watching the replay. Pete Carroll throws a challenge flag. They show the replay one more time. I'm sitting there and it's like, man, that boy scored. That boy 100% scored. There's no white. Let me go to the sports book. Shout out, Sportsbooks didn't lock it, man. Plus 450, Jake Bobo, anytime touchdown, was able to throw. I think at the time I only had like 30 in my account, so I only threw 30 on it. I went to go put in more money to see if I could throw some more on it. I wasn't able to because it locked by then. But, yeah, man, I was able to get a quick little, like, I think it was like 155 to like 170-ish about. Off of Jake Bobo touchdown that basically already happened because the books didn't lock. So shout out. That was really awesome. Like, I mean, seriously, like, it was, I guess my TV was just slightly ahead at the time. So I was able to like, get in there. I was able to nail the Jake Bobo touchdowns. That kind of saved the day a little bit. But yeah, that was really awesome. That was the highlight of the day. I got Bijan, Bubble Guts Bijan, Bubble Guts Bijan kind of messed me up a little bit. So it was nice that Money Time Bobo was able to help me out later. Because I'm telling you, that was truly awesome. That was one amazing feeling to be able to, like, I mean, seriously, I was sitting there live and I hit it because I did it in $10 increments 3 times basically. So I hit the bet the first time. I'm like, he was 100% in. No, he was in. Did it again, and I'm sitting there. It's like, This might be one of those ones where this might be once in a few times blue moon where it's like, hey, the book's talking about be ready, boy. You need to jump on it. Tried to put more on it, and then it locked. I was like, ah. But yeah, when they came back and announced it was a touchdown, that was truly awesome. I'm just scared for the next time I do that, if I throw a little bit more, they're on it. They're like, after further review, he actually did not score. Because, yeah, Bobo didn't score there. He didn't score the rest of the game, so shout out. Quickly, also, speaking of shout out Lamar Jackson, man. Best game of his season so far. They absolutely mollywop, beanbag, beat up the Lions. I don't know where I threw the beanbag in there. I meant to say they've hit him with the bag or something. Beamed him with the bag. It might have been one of the, I don't know. 38-6. Jahmyr Gibbs scores a very late touchdown. Shout out my boy Nick for dropping him in our 12-man. I needed a running back bad, so shout out. I'm happy I can get Gibbs now because Gibbs finally had a really good game as a pro. I mean, it really came towards the end of the game because, like I said, 38-6. And that 6 for the Lions was the very last touchdown. Oh, second to last touchdown scored the game. It was last touchdown. 14 minutes left, they scored a touchdown with Gibbs. And past that, man, Lamar Jackson, 21 for 27, 357, 3 touchdowns. Mark Andrews has 2 receiving touchdowns. Zay Flower has one. I believe Aguilar, or was it Aguilar? Zay Flower might have not had one. That's on me. Aguilar had the touchdown. It was Aguilar, and then it was Andrews with 2. It was just overall, it was just a dominant game, but there's nothing to take away from this game other than the Ravens just basically came out and just beat the shit out of the Lions. The Lions basically just had I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm a prophet or anything, because Ravens -3 was one of my few wins on the week, but this is about the game I saw. Because, I mean, if you watched them last week against the Titans, it's like, man, if the Ravens put up, like, the Ravens were just able to punch in the end zone, like, they would have been perfectly fine. Lamar Jackson rushing over did not hit, sadly. That was a massive number, though. It was like 55. He got in like the 30s, but I think it's partially because of the blowout. Because it got to a certain point, like he was just he like had hit Gus Edwards on an 80-yard pass up the field. I mean, they were just doing whatever they wanted. Like, I mean, you think about how you think the Ravens could score, and that's pretty much how they did against the Lions. I mean, Lamar had a rushing touchdown as well. I mean, it was just absolute domination by Lamar. This was an amazing. This was the Lamar game, and shout out to Lamar for it. 2 more games to talk about. Chiefs-Chargers. Chiefs had it turned on in the second half. The Chiefs might be back, man. Maybe this is a division game is what they needed to wake up. They absolutely put it to the Chargers. Chargers got, I mean, it was a close game for a minute. Oops. I'm trying to set my chair up. God damn. I'm going to leave that in. You guys got a little peek behind the green screen. I don't know why that messed up. But no, Chargers kept it close for a minute, and then Herbert got a pass that was deflected. So it turned into an interception, and that's basically when the game turned around. I can't remember what point in the game that was. It might have been the second quarter, potentially. But this game started out with, like, fireworks, man. It was just like, boom, big touchdown. It was like, boom, big touchdown to Valdez-Scantling. Then it was, boom, big rushing touchdown by Josh Kelly. Boom, Rashee Rice touchdown. Boom, Gerald Everett touchdown. So, I mean, it was like they were just trading punches back and forth pretty much. Good old nice boxing fight. And then right before half, boom, Travis Kelce touchdown. And then second half, not a single goddamn score. It was just back and forth offensive game. And then Pacheco, shout out Pacheco, had him to score as well. Had Kelce to score on some live props. They both score late. Chiefs end up winning big. Herbert and hot seat coach of the week candidate number 3. Staley, baby. Ron Rivera, Josh McDaniels, Brandon Staley are the 3. But, I mean, Staley's finally not getting all the blame. There was some blame going to Herbert this week, which, understandable. Herbert missed a few throws. I mean, he missed Keenan Allen in the end zone. That really hurt. There were just a few misses. Herbert's just having a few misses as of late, and it's making me wonder, it's like, what is going on? Like, the week before, he missed Keenan Allen on 2 big throws that were easily like 100 yards and potentially 2 touchdowns in throws. Now this week he misses Keenan Allen on another touchdown throw. I don't know if the injury's affecting his finger or what. I know it's on his non-throwing hand, but it could still mess with stuff a bit. I just don't know, man. It's just the Chargers have been really, really weird this year. They go against the Bears next week, so hopefully they can have a bounce-back game. But shout out Travis Kelce, man. God damn. 12 receptions, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. Mahomes, 424 and 4 touchdowns with the 1 interception. I mean, lordy, man. This team is just insane. This team is really good. McCole Hardman had a really good return. Had a few good catches as well on his return back to the team. I mean, this was just an overall, like, just ass beaten by the Chiefs in the second half. That defense smothered them. They do lose Nick Bolton for 2 months. It looks like he's going to need wrist surgery, so that really sucks. That's a big loss for them. He's a really good defender, but Drew Tranquil, I think it's either Drew or Danny. I forget which one it is. He's just going to basically replace him in his absence, and he's done well in his absence so far. I'm going to look up his name to make sure I don't get it wrong real quick. I want to say it's Drew. Yeah, it is Drew Tranquil. I don't know where I got Danny from. But yeah, shout out to the Chiefs, man. Big win there. Last game of the NFL slate that I'll talk about, and then we'll go into some NFL news for the week for anything I missed. Oh, sorry, there's 2 games. Eagles-Dolphins. This was a really interesting game. This is another game. So close, man. I had Tyreek Hill to score. Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert. Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert did not score, so I missed that one. That one was 10 to win like 300 some. So I was really close on the touchdown parlays yesterday. I'll lie to you, there was a decent amount of touchdown. Like, touchdown scoring was good to me yesterday. It just sucks. I was 2 people away from the King of Kings day, where I would have had a massive day. But shout out to the Eagles, man. Big win. Had them -2.5, so that works as well. This was just a dominating game by the Eagles. They finished the game with no penalties, which was really shocking. Another one of those ref games was a little weird. There's a few ref games I could have talked about during those slates, but I tried to just leave it be. Like I said, I'm not going to just bash the refs. I mean, enough shows have done that, enough people have done that. They had a bad week. They had a bad week. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, Eagles moved to 6-1, Dolphins 5-2. Eagles with a big win. I mean, this game was probably predictable for a lot of people. I mean, I think a lot of people saw the Eagles winning. I think a lot of people just saw the Eagles winning in general. I think a lot of people understood that this was going to be a tough one for the Dolphins. And then the pressure did get to Tua a little bit. Tua did hold his composure, though, and had like a decent game. They just missed a few chances, and then, yeah, the penalties obviously didn't help when you have like about 8 to 10 and the other team has 0. It's going to be hard to win a game when the team commits no penalties. Nick Sirianni, all-time clip at the end of the game, walking to the locker room in the what's that called? I forget what it's called, but on the way back to the locker room, he had a funny clip that was hilarious of him just yelling at a PR person. But yeah, overall, Jalen Hurts had a really good game. Basically threw for 279, 2 touchdowns. He did have the interception, but other than that, he did really good. A.J. Brown, 10 receptions for 137. He now has 125 receiving in 5 straight games, so you best believe we're going to take it next game just in the case it hits. There's a chance he probably doesn't do it next game, but he is on a little bit of a streak. Tyreek Hill, 11 receptions, 88 yards and a touchdown. Probably pretty good to hold him down like that, even though he had a really good fantasy day. I mean, it was not a bad game. It was just not a bad game by the Eagles. Jalen Hurts did hurt his knee, though, but it sounds like it's nothing too serious, so he won't miss any time. But yeah, big good win by the Eagles. Shout out to them, man. That was a big win. And we'll go to the final game of the week. 49ers-Vikings. Vikings get the upset win on Monday Night Football. Another one of those shocking ones. This is another one where the public got a little bit roasted and toasted on. Jordan Addison, man. Oh, my goodness, boy. 7 receptions, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was the coming-out game. Kirk Cousins, 35 for 45, 378, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brock Purdy, 272, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. 49ers missed a few field goals that probably... I don't know if they missed 2, but they for sure missed 1 that definitely came into effect. But man, bro, Purdy just doesn't... Purdy looks a little rough right now, I won't lie. But shout out to Jordan Addison, man. First play of the game, or not first chance for him to catch a ball in the game. He gets it ripped away by Trevarius Ward. Most people, right there, they give up. They're not, like, you could have gave up. You could have been done. Kirk Cousins could have not looked his way, but I give Kirk Cousins credit for looking back his way. I give Jordan Addison credit for being a tough son of a bitch, because, oh my gosh, man. He gets his first touchdown about 20 yards away after they marched down the field after Christian McCaffrey fumbled, which was crazy. And then Jordan Addison, Jordan Addison gets the ball ripped away from him, and then Christian McCaffrey fumbles the ball back to the Vikings. Jordan Addison scores a touchdown. Then Christian McCaffrey a little bit later gets his rushing touchdown. 16 all-time NFL record. Shout out Christian McCaffrey, man. 16 straight games with a scrimmage touchdown that he started in. That's absolutely insane. And then right before half, man, Jordan Addison. You saw Ward again. Ward was trying to take the ball, and he's like, hey, give me that. Rips it from him. I mean, it was insane, man. They were literally, I want to say it's like taking candy from a baby, but nah, that boy just straight up robbed him. That was robbery, boy. Javarius Ward looked like a hit. Literally, it was an inverse of what happened. Hits Javarius Ward, starts bouncing through his hands a little bit this way, and then Jordan Addison basically just rips it from him, goes for another long touchdown. Shout out to him, man. Jordan Addison had a really insane day. Kirk Cousins had a really good day as well. I mean, it was just a good game by the Vikings. Vikings defense did just enough to hold down the 49ers. That big fumble was forcing Christian McCaffrey to fumble right there, too, because they forced him to fumble about the 20-yard line. So if not, I mean, they probably score there. Yeah, that was just a huge win by the Vikings. Shout out to them. 49ers now, little two-game slide. They'll probably look, and then they play the Bengals next week. So, man, they could go on potentially a 3-game slide. They could get before they, and then they have a bye. So, I mean, this is some dangerous time for the 49ers. But yeah, that probably does it for the week. I went over every NFL game. Quickly, we'll burn through some NFL news right now. Just so, because this episode is going to be a little bit longer already. It's fine. I mean, a lot of these usually episodes are naturally going to be a little bit longer, especially with how much news and stuff I have to burn through. Oh, I thought this was a fake story. This is apparently real. Chris Olave was arrested Monday night for reckless operation of a motor vehicle. I don't think he's going to be like in any serious trouble. I think he was driving 75 and a 35. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things. He's going to get pretty much a slap on the wrist, probably pay a fine for speeding, but thankfully it's only speeding. I forgot about this. Titans traded Bayard away to the Eagles, which is, are they going to be selling the season? If they sell, Titans might be looking at just a quick little rebuild. This is one of their, if not their best defender. If you want to say Jeffrey Simmons is their best defender, I won't argue with you. But if not, this guy's for sure second. The Eagles will send a 6th round and a 5th round pick for, as well, safety Terrell Edmonds in exchange for Kevin Byard. So obviously they did not fully like what they were getting out of Terrell Edmonds, and they saw a chance to upgrade the position. Kevin Byard's a nice upgrade. I mean, that is a position the Eagles needed, too. So that's a really nice upgrade. Kareem Jackson is going to get suspended for 4 games after his second injection on an illegal hit. I won't lie. This one, the more I've watched it, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Kareem Jackson just absolutely hit him. Like, he just drilled his head. But the more you watch it, he definitely hits the guy in the shoulder. Sorry for the sound. I'm watching the video again. Trying to talk over it so you don't hear it. But yeah, he hits him in the shoulder, the head snaps back. It's just a weird hit because he hits him hard. So the fact that he got ejected, I think it's bullshit he got ejected for it. You just can't hit hard in the NFL anymore. That's what that says. But, I mean, it just sucked. I don't think he should have got ejected, but he has already been fined like 6 or 7 times this year, so that might be why he is. I don't know. I don't totally agree with it. Man, I'm shocked. Apparently, Chiefs Justin Ross was arrested on Monday for criminal damage of more than $25,000. Of course, the report doesn't say what he did. He just did something worth $25,000. I don't know what happened. I can try to look it up for you guys real quick, because I'm actually genuinely curious. What's up with all these people getting in trouble, man? I mean, Olave gets arrested. Justin Ross now in trouble for some, faces a felony charge. Oh, man, this is not good. Yeah, nothing's come out from this. Like, they've not said what he did, other than criminal damage. So I don't know if it was like reckless driving and he hit something or what, but yeah, that's 2 people not dealing with it. Man, this is a huge loss for the Seahawks. Uchenna Nwosu looks like he's going to need pec surgery. He's going to be out for the year. I mean, that is a huge, huge loss for the Seahawks. This is potentially, though, a situation where they trade man, I'm just saying, apparently there's stuff that, I don't know, there's rumors now they might try to go for Danielle Hunter, Brian Burns. That's a little bit of what I was reading from the Seahawks, but either way, losing Uchenna Nwosu, he's been a good part of that defense. Losing him to a pec surgery, that really, really sucks. Jerome Ford is out 1 to 2 weeks with an ankle sprain. He left the Colts game after dealing with it. Like I told you earlier, NFL is questioning Falcons over Robinson's health timeline. So basically, they're just trying to make sure, see if he was if it happened before the basically if it happened before the game and they knew it and they just didn't say anything, or if it happened like during the game, pretty much. Yeah, I won't lie. I don't like the amount of complaining that's come from it, because it makes some people it makes some of us look soft, man. It makes some of us gamblers and people look soft. But I also understand it, so hopefully he's just okay. That's the big thing at the end of the day. I hope he's okay. I'm not trying to fight anybody over it. Because I'm frustrated as well. Yeah, Watson might not play next week with his issue now. I don't even know what's wrong with him anymore at this point. Shoulder, head, I don't know. There's something going on weird with him. Nick Bolton's going to need wrist surgery. He's going to be expected to miss about 2 months because of it. Michael Pittman's coming out saying maybe I'm not a big part of the offense after a 2-catch game. I mean, dude caught a 75-yard touchdown. I mean, he's acting. The thing, he's going to get good targets next week. I'm going to bet on him for sure. But he has to understand, like, hey, buddy, you're our number one receiver. There's going to be some games where the best corner's going to be guarding you, and I don't think you want Gardner Minshew throwing you that ball. Sirianni loves the tush push. Basically, I mean, he has this very nice thing he came out with and said, and I mean, he's not wrong. They're one of the few teams that can do it. We watched the Vikings do it last night, not get it twice, and jump off sides. I mean, it's one of those things. At this point, like, if they do take it away from the game, it's for the safety of the players on the pile and everything. But for the fact that, I mean, I don't think they should take it away. I think the Eagles, what the Eagles do with it is special. I think they just. Other teams until they find a way to stop it, man. That Eagles plays like legit, and they have the guys. I mean, it all starts with Jason Kelsey and Jalen Hurts. Starts with those two, and then everybody else fills it out and makes it insane. By the way, it was Jonathan Allen who came out and said, "I'm tired of losing." He said, "This is excuse me for the language, real quick. I'm gonna read the quote, and it has some language in it. So sorry for those little children. This is from Jonathan Allen. I'm fucking tired of this shit. I'm fucking tired of this bullshit. It's been 7 fucking years of the same shit. I'm tired of this shit." And that's a guy who probably is just hurting. And I can understand it. I mean, the Commanders have been a poverty franchise. They've just been absolutely horrible. It's been the same thing for year after year after year after year. Hopefully they get some changes now, but I mean, we'll have to see, man. I just don't know, man. Yeah, it's until we see it, I just don't know. There was also a memo posted about fighting in the NFL, so I'm sure there's fines and all that talked about. Barkley's not supposed to be traded at all. It seems like the Giants are going to end up keeping him. Bill Belichick apparently in the offseason signed a multi-year extension, which is basically he does every year. He has one of those deals basically that's set up where when the NFL gets a new highest paid coach, or a coach gets a new pay raise, Bill Belichick's contract immediately gets negotiated and he gets basically like an extra $1 million more or something like that. So I'm assuming that's what that had to do with. Was that the fact that pretty much Bill Belichick has it written in his contract that, like, hey, if a new coach gets paid or becomes the highest paid coach, we immediately have to have talks, and it's probably what happened. Tannehill's not going to get surgery, so he might be out week 8 with that ankle. DK missed his first game of a career this last week. That was pretty frustrating and sad. Teams are calling about Danielle Hunter, so yeah, he'll probably be traded. That won't be shocking. And that's probably going to do it. Cardinals activated Budda Baker from IR. That's another big one. Deontay Johnson did play this Sunday, which is huge that they got him back. Jamal Adams, if you guys were curious, if everybody remembers when he was yelling at the concussion consultant about wanting to go back into the game and everything, fined $50,000 for it. So the NFL was not very happy about it at all. And yeah, that's probably going to do it. We don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be back next week for sure. There's a few quarterbacks also. We don't know what their injury status is going to be next week for sure. We'll just have to see, man. I just don't know for sure. We'll just have to wait pretty much and see what happens with some of these teams. Sorry, I was looking at this article. I was looking at one of the people that they're better. Yeah, they're better. They came out, the site that I was reading, they came out with an article from one of their writers about his betting, and yeah, his weekend wasn't as good as mine either. Pretty bad weekend for us bettors. But now we'll quickly run through some college real quick to end the show. Pretty much, because yeah, we're running pretty long today, boy. Had a lot to talk about. I spent a lot of time on those mediocre games. I probably shouldn't have. I will admit, as the season goes on, as we get closer to the playoffs, I will talk about the playoff teams that don't matter some less. Like, for example, if there's like a Bears-Commanders game towards the end of the season and none of those have playoff implications, I probably won't be talking about those games as much. That's why I'm trying to show them a little bit more love now. Talk about some of those teams now. It's because, yeah, as the season goes on, I'm going to start talking about the bad teams less and less. So, yeah, going into last week, week 8 for the college week, it was pretty not too wild week. Jacksonville State covers again. Shout out they've been a blessing for me. Past that, Liberty wins again. They were looking to have a great season. The Wagon, James Madison on Thursday, covered again. Shout out. But yeah, past that, SMU absolutely blows out Temple Friday. That was another cover for me. I gave out and captain by a hook. Penn State loses bad to Ohio State. Penn State just doesn't have an offense. That's what. They just can't throw the ball down the field at all. Like, I watched half of that game because I was golfing that. I was golfing on Saturday. Our tee time got pushed back a little bit because of the frost warning, so I missed the first half of this game. But second half, I didn't see anything at all that impressed me with Penn State. They just, I don't know. I just don't know. Offensively, I just don't know if they got it or not. Pretty much what I took away from that game. Air Force beats Navy. The under hits as well. Shout out there. Oklahoma wins a close one against UCF, but they're able to pull it out and get the win. Rutgers beats Indiana. I was on the wrong side of that one. I apologize for that. Oregon beats Washington State by about 14. Washington State gets a touchdown late to cover. Alabama beats Tennessee by 14. Tennessee was up 20-7 in the first half, and then got that thing smacked all over the floor. Allowing 27 second half points, not scoring at all. Yeah, that ain't going to get you a win. Shout out Northwestern. Northwestern covers against Nebraska. Missouri beats South Carolina bad. That game was a lot more of a blowout than I thought it would. Iowa gets absolutely hosed by the refs. If you're clearly a football person, you know that DeJean was saying, hey, get away, Peter, get away from the ball. And instead, they don't give him the touch. I mean, if you even watch the refs, if you call for a fair catch on a punt and you try to return the touchdown, it's a flag on you. If you call a fair catch and you get hit, that's a flag on the defense. Both those things happened. There was no flags. DeJean didn't step out of bounds. Iowa got absolutely hosed by that punt return call. But at the same time, man, have an offense to score some goddamn points. It's Minnesota. Iowa's offense is horrible, man. It's horrible at this point. Like, I don't even, not even joking, dude. 10 for 28 for 116 and one interception. You're a Big Ten quarterback. I understand it, but man, they just need to do better. Shout out Bronson Pig. I think the Bronson Pig is the name of the, whatever you call it. I think the Bronson Pig is what Minnesota and Iowa battled for. First ever time the PJ Flex got us. Shout out Minnesota, though. That was a big win by them. Huge win. Tulane escapes North Texas by a touchdown. I don't know how close that game was. Texas, they end up winning 31-24, but they're going to lose Ewers for a few weeks to an AC joint sprain. No idea how long for sure. And one of the most shocking upsets of the weekend, 23.5-point favorite North Carolina gets upset by Virginia. That one was pretty frustrating for me. Sorry about my chair, man. I got to fix this squeaky boy. I was pretty frustrated about that. North Carolina ends up losing there. Ole Miss beats Auburn. That one's not too surprising. Duke loses to Florida State. Duke legit had a chance to win this game until Riley Leonard got re-injured. The second he got re-injured, that game pretty much was over. Michigan blows out Michigan State. LSU blows out Army. USC loses to Utah, so their playoff hopes are probably over completely now. So now it's gonna be interesting to see how we see Caleb Williams act and play the rest of the season now. This is gonna be big for his draft stock pretty much. It's like, hey, now we know you're out of it. You've had a bunch of shit games. How do you respond? This could be really big for him. Miami beats Clemson in overtime. That was kind of surprising. And Washington survives Arizona State with a scare, get a pick six late to win it. And UCLA beats Stanford 42-7. Absolutely blowing them out. Yeah, that's going to do it for today. Not too much to talk about. We got a Game 7 and an MLB tonight. NBA opening night tonight. It's college basketball's about back too. Man, it's about to be the time for the sports world, baby. It's about the time where the golden age of sport. It's about the golden time of sports, man. All the sports are about kicking off. Hockey's going on. Baseball's about over. NBA starting off. Basketball's kicking off, or basketball's tipping off. Football's going. It's a really, really great time. But yeah, Thursday, we're gonna do. Basically, we don't need to talk about Pickem too much. I said I was going to do a Pickem recap. We ran out of time. I'll recap it Thursday. Just know I didn't win. I think I got second, I'm pretty sure. So, either second or third, but it is what it is. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. I'll see everybody on Thursday. Thursday, we'll go over my bets for the weekend. And pretty much touch on all the NFL games that are going to be happening. But thank you all for the support. I will see everybody back on this feed on Thursday.